everyone, welcome to the Mufasa book readings. Yes, you heard correct. The book readings are back, and we are reading from Simon Sinek's book titled Start With Why. I hope you really enjoy the book, and let's get right into it. Chapter 13, The Origins of a Why. It started in Vietnam War era, Northern California, where anti-government ideals and disdain for large centers of power ran rampant. Two young men saw the power of government and corporations as the enemy, not because they were big per se, but because they were squashed the spirit of the individual. They imagined a world in which an individual had a voice. They imagined a time when an individual could successfully stand up in power old assumptions and status quo thoughts and successfully challenge them, even redirect them. They hung out with hippie types who shared their beliefs, but they saw a different way to change the world that didn't require protesting or engaging in anything illegal. Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs came of age in this time. Not only was the revolutionary spirit running high in Northern California, but it was also the time and place of the computer revolution. And in this technology, they saw the opportunity to start their own revolution. The Apple gave an individual the power to do the same things as any company. Wozniak recounts. For the first time ever, one person could take on a corporation simply because they had the ability to use the technology. Wozniak engineered the first Apple and later the second Apple to be simple enough for people to harness the power of technology. Jobs knew how to sell it. Thus was born Apple Computer, a company with purpose, to give the individual power to stand up, to establish power, to empower the dreamers and idealists to challenge the status quo and succeed. But their course, their why, started long before Apple was born. In 1971, working out of Wozniak's dorm room at UC Berkeley, the two Steves made something they called the blue box. Their little device hacked the phone system to give people the ability to avoid paying long-distance rates on their phone bills. Apple computers didn't exist yet, but Jobs and Woz were already challenging a big brother type power. In this case, Bell, American Telephone and Telegraph, the monopoly phone company. Technically, what the blue box did was illegal, and with no desire to challenge power by breaking the law, Jobs and Woz never actually used the device themselves. But they liked the idea of giving other individuals the ability to avoid having to play by the rules of monopolic forces, a theme that would repeat many more times in Apple's future. On April the 1st, 1976, they repeated their pattern again. They took on the giants of the computer industry, most notably Big Blue, IBM. Before the Apple, computing still meant using a punch card to give instructions to huge mainframe squirreled away in a computer center somewhere. IBM targeted their technology to corporations, and not as Apple intended, as a tool for individuals to target corporations. With clarity of purpose and amazing discipline, Apple's computer's success seemed to follow the law of diffusion, almost by design. In its first year in business, the company sold $1 million worth of computers to those who believed what they believed. By year 2, they had sold $10 million worth. By year 2, they had sold $10 million worth. By their third year in business, they were a $100 million company. and they attained billion-dollar status within only 6 years. Already a household name, in 1984, Apple launched the Macintosh with their famed 1984 commercial that aired during the Super Bowl. Directed by Ridley Scott, famed director of cult classics like Blade Runner, the commercial also changed the course of advertising industry. First Super Bowl commercial ushered in the annual tradition of the big budget cinematic Super Bowl advertising. With the Macintosh Apple once again, the tradition of things were done. They challenged the standard of Microsoft's DOS, the standard operations system used by the most personal computers at the time. The Macintosh was the first mass market computer to use graphical user interface and a mouse, allowing people to simply point and click rather than input code. Ironically, it was Microsoft that took Apple's concept to the masses with Windows. Gates' version of the graphical user interface, Apple's ability to ignite revolutions, and Microsoft's ability to take ideas to the mass market perfectly illustrate the why of each company and indeed their respective founder. Jobs has always been about challenge, and Gates has always been about getting to the most people. Apple would continue to challenge with other products that followed the same pattern. Recent examples include iPod and, most significantly, iTunes. With these technologies, Apple challenged the status quo business model of the music industry, an industry so directed, trying to protect its intellectual property and their outdated business model, that it was busy suing 13-year-old music pirates while Apple redefined the online music market. The pattern repeated again when Apple introduced the iPhone. The status quo dictated the cellular providers and not the phone manufacturer decide the features and capabilities of the actual phones. T-Mobile, Virgin Wireless, and Sprint, for example, tell Motorola, LG, and Nokia what to do. Apple changed all that when they announced that. With the iPhone, they would be telling the provider what the phone would do. Ironically, the company that Apple challenged with their blue box decades before, this time around exhibited classic early adopter behavior. AT&T was only one to agree to this new model, and so another revolution was ignited. Thank you, finally. Thank you so much for joining today's book reading. I hope you don't forget to like, comment, share to your family and friends, and be part of our beautiful community. Thanks for watching. Bye.